Good morning, guys. We're up after a rough night. As you saw, we got the dreaded knock finally. After about 2 years of doing part-time van life, it happened. We didn't really show you last night, but we ended up parking on the road that we were driving on, and it was right along the beach. We felt pretty good about it. Other van lifers online have said they have parked in that area. One person said they'd even parked right along the beach, so we thought it was all good, but obviously it wasn't. I'm not sure if there's anything we can learn from it or not, other than to always have a plan B. I don't think it's easy to look up ordinances or things like that, or, you know, do all that research every place you go. So you live and learn, but I think we're probably going to have more knocks in the future, because I think we're getting more brave about trying new spots. We'll see. So we're going to get back on the road now. I think after that night, we're going to get fueled up with some coffee and try to find some Wi-Fi while we're at it. I would say it's not been the worst night on the road. We've definitely had worse, but wasn't all that great either.
Once we finally arrived at Cracker Barrel, we found a parking spot, and unfortunately it was right by, I don't know, I'll have to investigate this morning, but it sounded like air pressure tank of some kind that was releasing pressure like every minute or two. It's going. So we tried to muscle through that for maybe 15-20 minutes, and we're like, oh.
We tried to drown it out. We turned the fans up, and we turned on our white noise app, and we could still hear it.
So finally got out of bed again and moved the van to a different side of the parking lot, where finally we were able to fall back asleep.
Oh, gosh.
So it was quite the eventful evening. All right, so this is where we wound up last night. Good old Cracker Barrel. And off in the distance there, by that dumpster, there's a kind of a tan brown van. We were parked just on the side of that. And like I had mentioned before, we kept hearing this kind of pressure hiss noise. So I wanted to investigate. And right next door is a Pet Boys. So indeed, it must have been a air pressure tank that was releasing every so often, which was keeping us up. So we wound up moving the van to the other side of the parking lot.
Turn left, then your destination will be on the left.
So after our fiasco last night, we thought that we would take time today in this video to talk to you about what we do for finding parking overnight and during the day, because there can be challenges to each depending on where you are. There's a lot of different things that we do. We use some apps and some tools online, and then we have some go-tos that we thought we'd share today. So one of the downsides of van life is definitely figuring out where you're going to park. That can take a lot of work and research and energy each day. A lot of times before we start a trip, we research an area and we try to get some general ideas of where we might be able to park. We were just at McDonald's. We stopped in there for their Wi-Fi just to take some time to check out the area we're going. We're heading up to the Clearwater Beach area. We're going to probably do some stops along the way, but I think for overnight parking, it'll be up in that area. But also in busy areas, a lot of times they can charge a lot for parking. We know Clearwater Beach is a pretty popular area. So when we were at McDonald's, we took some time on our computers just to scope out the area, look at daytime parking areas and options. And also we used some apps to find some overnight options as well. So a couple apps we use. Number one, we always check iOverlander to see if anyone else has posted some areas that have worked well for overnight. We also use the Seeker app, and then we always go to Google and we check out the satellite view and we check out the street view to scope out an area. A lot of times you can see in the street view where there are signs for parking, if there's parking meters, or an online parking app, so we can tell if an area is free or if there's a fee to park. We always try to find free if we can. If we can't, we try to find the cheapest option. So an example of that, in Clearwater Beach, there's a parking lot and there's metered parking where it's $3 per hour.
In a quarter mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn slightly left onto US 19 North.
So what we did is we tried to find some alternative options, such as places to park where it's a daily fee instead of an hourly fee. So I found a couple parks that are $5 per day. That's a big difference if we're there all day between that and $3 an hour. So that's just an example of one of the ways we handle the daytime parking. Photobomb. So we didn't realize this the last time we were here, but apparently there had been a bridge here before that collapsed in 1980. I think a barge might have hit it. I'll have to look into it more, but I thought that was kind of interesting that the whole bridge collapsed, and now we've got this new awesome bridge. Alright, so now we're going to come back out of the rest area and go under the bridge to the other side. Following signs for the fishing pier. And then straight ahead. No. Oh, that's on the pier. We already knew that. No trailers or RVs on the pier. That's because you can't turn around up there. Up facing this way with the van.
I don't see any RVs or vans like ours. Unlike last time, there were quite a few. So I wonder if that's a sign that they're really cracking down on things, or if just happenstance people are on with their days. At this point it is 11:30 in the morning. Anyway.
So I wonder if you're allowed to park out here. We did before, right? I mean, people can drive around. It doesn't say no parking over here. So I think we should just park right along here. Voila. Look at that.
The mighty Mississippi.
Yep. So how's that for a view from the van? For free. So we've been charging our EcoFlow Delta power unit as we've been driving with our DC to DC charge. So now we're going to switch things over. Let's see how the unit's doing. We're at 90%. We've got 103 input from the DC to DC. Now we're going to switch over to our solar. We parked, so we have our front of the van in the shade, and the back is in the sun for the solar charging. Alright, so here's the solar cord. I'm going to plug that in. So that's plugged in there now. Now I gotta reach around the back and find the button wherever it is. So I switched on our inverter, and now we are powering our fridge again. So it looks like an output of 70 and an input of 73-ish, 74. However, we think with the EcoFlow, it doesn't actually factor in the power being drawn by the inverter. So I think we're actually getting less input than that, which is unfortunate that it's not an exact reading here. But there we go, we're at 90%. It's what time, Steve?
I think it's almost noon. Almost
noon. We're gonna hang out here for a little bit. We'll see how we do here. Steve just reminded me, unfortunately, we can't run the EcoFlow just like this. It gets overheated. So we have to pull it out away from the side of the van. And then we've actually been putting a fan on it as well to cool it down more. So what do you do now to get it more loose? Just hitting the button so it's loose a little bit.
Oh, there's a release on the black handle itself.
Oh, I did that already.
Do both at the same time.
Oh, and
there
then
you
just
go.
pull it out.
That should be good.
All right, so then we pull the unit out a little bit.
You can, you can disconnect it from the wall.
Oh.
Okay, the best.
All right, so you disconnect the cable. It holds it in place while we're driving. You pull it out a little bit. And you really think we need the fan? Can we just try it and see what happens?
Try it without it.
And then if it overheats, we can put the fan on it. Hopefully we can do this off the fan. It seems like just so much extra hassle to actually get this thing working. Keep it working. All right, we're gonna open things up so we have more of a breeze. Oh, that feels good. And a nice view from different angles in the van. Look at that. A view there. And kitty there. And a view there. All right, now that we're parked, we're doing a little bit of cleanup here in the van. And just want to talk more about parking as we do that. Last year we were here. We have a video on that. We took you guys along with us. We had seen some campers parked here, and you could tell after going by a few times that they were here to stay because some of the RVs had like their, the fifth wheel had like their things down. What do you call that?
Stabilizer?
Stabilizers down. We could tell they were camping out. So we actually ended up staying here overnight for free. And then it was so nice we came back another night. Unfortunately now since then, I've seen online that people have said the cops have been coming and turning people away. But when we were here before, there were all kinds of vans and RVs staying. So it's kind of unfortunate. It was a gem for van life for sure. And those kind of changes make things hard. I don't know if there's just been people abusing it and staying too long or making trouble, but it's unfortunate when we lose spots like that, so it makes it that much harder to find new spots. So that's just one of the things about van life, and we just have to use resources to try to find other spots. But for now, it was at least open during the day, so we're gonna enjoy it for a little bit. So for daytime parking, there's a few different things that we look for. Number one, we look for community parks because they're usually in a nice spot and they have bathrooms and sometimes water where we can refill our water. Another nice option is state parks. Obviously you have to pay to get into those unless you have the state park pass like we do here in Florida, so we get in for free. Or if you don't have the park pass, at least it's a flat daily rate and it's usually pretty reasonable compared to paying for hourly parking somewhere. So those are a couple of our go-tos. A few other things I can think of would be spots like this. A lot of times like under bridges or at boat ramps, there's a good place to park. Can you think of anything else, Steve? Good daytime parking spots?
Not really. Obviously there's always street parking and libraries we've taken advantage of. They're not going to be in the most scenic spots, but it's still free parking.
And again, for all of that, we often use Google Maps. We go to the street view and we navigate to see, if there's free parking or paid parking or what the area looks like. So it just all depends on what you're doing. But those are the things we mentioned are for if you want kind of a nice location to hang out. If you don't care about the location, then there's all kinds of spots like free street parking and libraries and whatnot. So that's what we do during the day.
For overnight parking, our go-to is Cracker Barrel. They actually welcome overnight parking on their website, which is great. We are extremely thankful to have that in our back pocket. Of course, another option is Walmart's and the Home Depots and Lowe's. You have to be careful. They're not always welcoming, so you want to call and make sure. Of course, there's always on-street parking in small towns, and as long as you kind of blend in, I think you're usually pretty safe.
So there's some towns that are definitely more friendly to van lifers and others that are not. Like we started out this trip down south in Marco Island and there was nowhere you could park. We have found that if you avoid popular areas, you're going to be more successful probably. So you stop in kind of an offbeat, smaller town where it just doesn't matter as much. There's not been a lot of van lifers causing an issue. It's a quiet place. They don't really notice you. So I think maybe last night, one of our mistakes was that we parked right on the main road next to the beach. We did that because we were confident that it was okay. If we had known it was questionable, we could have just looked for maybe a side street that was quieter, not so noticeable. I don't know if that would have made a difference or not. But I think the important thing that in all of that is always have a plan B, one that you know you can fall back on. So we knew there was a Cracker Barrel within like 20-25 minutes. It wasn't ideal, but at least in the middle of the night we knew we could go there. So you got to be flexible, you got to be willing to go with the flow and realize that it's just part of van life, that sometimes it just doesn't work, and then other times there's great spots, so you just have to be prepared for it.
So our message to all the other van lifers who might be seeing this, any future van lifers who are considering this type of travel, is to do yourself and everyone else a favor and be courteous, be mindful of your footprint. Obviously don't treat Cracker Barrel like a campsite. Literally just pull up, go to sleep, in the morning be on your way. You certainly want to patronize these businesses as you can, when you can, keep them in business. But just be mindful of what you're doing, because your behavior can affect the people that are coming behind you.
Yeah, and I think last night the police officer actually said that someone had been kind of abusing the system and had been camping out along the beach there for days on end, and that ruins it for everyone else. So don't stay somewhere too long. Be respectful. As we get more and more van lifers, things could change. Hopefully Cracker Barrel is going to keep their policy where they welcome RVers. If that changes, I think we're in trouble on the East Coast here. So I'd have to say, this is living right now. It's nice just to be chilling out in the van with a nice breeze by the water. We're probably going to take a nap because we didn't get a lot of sleep last night. This is pretty great. Okay, a little status update on our power unit. It's about 2:20 in the afternoon. We've been here at this parking spot by the water for about a little over 2.5 hours now. And this is where we're at. It's looking good with the solar and with our charge.
It's nice that it's working and it's not overheating. And the fridge does seem to be doing what a fridge should be doing.
Yeah, the bread is starting to freeze a little bit actually, so maybe we just didn't give it enough time before.
So I'm just not sure about the Delta. Obviously it needs to breathe, that makes sense to me. But what causes it to overheat sometimes doesn't seem to be clear logic to it. That's why I've been putting the fan on it to help it circulate the air. I don't know, maybe today is just cold enough with a good enough wind that it doesn't need the fan.
Is it in the low 80s right now?
It's low 80s, and we got a nice breeze coming through.
But it's funny because we've had it overheat before when it was like high 70s, wasn't it?
Right.
Or hasn't it?
So
who knows?
Anyway, you take the wins when you can get them, but I wish I could figure it out on a logical basis.
And it's time to make a quick little lunch before we get back on the road. A couple little tips about van life, cooking and eating on the road. We are learning that it's super nice to pick up little packets like this of condiments when we're on the road. Usually at the gas stations that have lots of food options. Makes it a lot easier than carrying around a container of condiments for each different condiment. So we're going to use that now to make some sandwiches. We got some ham and tomato and some other things. And we've mentioned before, we love Aldi grocery stores. We feel like we save a lot of money there. It's a lot cheaper than a lot of other grocery stores. And this is one of our favorite little finds. Jalapeno kettle chips. I think they're like $1.37 or something. So that's pretty cheap and they're really good.
While Audra was making lunch, I took some time to empty our trash and to pick up some trash left around the area. We try to leave places better than we find them.
Alright. Lunch is served. You ready?
Heck yeah.
Here you go.
Thanks.
Jalapeno kettle chips. Spicy but delicious.
Just like Audra.
Spicy and delicious. Awesome. Alright, and then another little hack, a van life hack or tip that we've mentioned before. We've got these door stoppers to keep the fridge and freezer closed, and they work great. We are so glad we got those. We got them at the dollar store, and it's perfect so the doors don't come open when we're driving. I think that's the same crow that a little bit ago I saw come in, and he landed on our little stoop there by our mattress and then landed up on the back door. You better not come in my van.
Before getting back on the road, we took some time to do a little photo shoot with the van.
Just a little behind the scenes. I recently lost a piece to our tripod, so until we get that piece or get a new tripod, these are the lengths we take to get pictures.
Alrighty, Van Olympics 2022. Can Audra get a Walmart bag of trash into that trash can?
What do you think, guys?
3, 2, 1.
Nope.
Oh.
Wait, I think I should get another turn. I suck at throwing. Hold on. I get one more try. It's funny because you know right away when you let go that it's not right.
3, 2,
You can't count.
1. Nice.
Nailed it.
1 out of 2 ain't bad. From deep range, 50%. Nicely done, Audra.
Well, I was a swimmer in high school, not a basketball player. See where we are, Treasure Island.
We're at Treasure Island.
How about we're driving, I don't know. Tell them that we're on the barrier island, St. Petersburg's barrier island. Tell them that.
Audra wants me to tell you that we're on the barrier island of Treasure Island
of
St.
Right.
Petersburg's island.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Steve. What Steve is trying to say here, move your mouth like you're talking and I'll talk for you. We're now...
Every girl's dream.
We're now on St. Petersburg's barrier island. We're driving up the barrier island by St. Petersburg beaches. We're on Treasure Island right now. How did you get so smart, Steve? Steve and I were just talking about this area that to us it feels a lot like New Jersey. It's got a totally different feel than a lot of other areas by Florida beaches. It reminds me of Long Beach Island, if anybody's been there before. Just kind of older buildings, a lot of little shops, older hotels. A little different than what we've been seeing so far today. Not today, on this trip. Actually where we're going. On the other side of the bridge is something or other. Blind pass something. And I think we're leaving Treasure Island, perhaps?
Barrier Island of Treasure Island
No, that's
of
not
St.
right.
Petersburg's Island.
Oh my gosh.
I dare you to roll the window down and hold your hand out.
Hey. Where's our ice cream? They're ignoring us.
That was a very weak ask.
I held my hand out.
Yeah.
I held my hand out. They just didn't pay attention to me. So we're driving around here looking for parking, and we just went past a lot and asked the guy how much it was. Guess how much it was? It's 4:15 in the afternoon. He wants us to pay $30 for the day. Out here it's $3 per hour. Why would we park over there when we can park here for $3 an hour? Do you want to park here? There's a spot right there. So we are gonna pay. We've been here, gosh, it was several years ago. Steve barely remembers it, which is normal. There's a lot to do and see here, so we're just gonna check it out for a little bit before we keep moving. We are here. I want to go on the shark boat.
So Audra was trying to refresh my memory of this massive metal sculpture of an alligator. And there it is. Let me circle that for you. That's massive. Yup.
I don't know that I used the word massive. I just said a big or some sculpture.
Right.
But to my credit, I used my telephoto lens, so in the picture it is large. So if it's the same one, okay, it is a little small, but at least I remember it was an alligator and it was a wire sculpture. Steve doesn't even remember this place. Yeah. All right, I think it's time to get Steve some new sunglasses. What do you guys think? Oh, those are definitely new. That's definitely you. All right, we came, we saw, we conquered, for sure. Now it's time to keep moving. Clearwater Beach is next. So we're doing a little recon here on our way to Clearwater Pier for the evening. We're just kind of scoping out some options for tomorrow, see what kind of prices there are for parking and what it's like around here. I think it's $5 for the day here.
Gonna go find out.
Sometimes it won't let you until you put your card in though, right? I guess we'll see. So we're trying to find cost-effective ways to find parking at the beach.
Says $5 buys you to Sunset.
All right, so maybe tomorrow if we want to come for a chunk of time, that might be a good option. And beach is the beach is the beach, probably.
Alrighty, it's time to fuel up. Just a reminder to use Get Upside app. It's now called Upside. They made a recent change. Use the code below and we both get a rebate. Use that code and we'll both save some money.
So the nice thing with the app is that you can search on the route that you're traveling to see where the prices are the cheapest, and we have found with Upside that usually they do have the better prices, the better deals. So the list price here was $4.09 and we got it for $4.02 per gallon, so that was pretty good. We saved about 7 cents a gallon. Every cent adds up. So check out the description in our video for more details, link, and that code, and save some money, and we'll save some money too. So we hope you have enjoyed coming along with us today. We have been making our way north up the Gulf side of Florida from the southwest part, Everglades City. We're going to keep going north. We're in Clearwater Beach now. We're going to head to the pier for the sunset celebration, but you have to tune in next time for that. So we hope to see you then. See you next time.
Okay, we'll see you next time.